Today on Judge Faith, the drama goes way beyond the videotaping of this playwright's opening night.
The night of the play, Frederick came in like 30 minutes late.
I actually came in 10 minutes late.
Wait, so he came late and left early?
And later, this couple did major work on the house they were renting.
Windows had to be replaced. Concrete had to be installed in the doorframe in the basement, patches, holes. There were numerous things.
But when they asked the landlord for their deposit back, he said no way.
Me and my wife drove by, and my jaw just literally dropped when I saw my fence that they were supposed to install. I mean, it looks like a chicken fence.
The only thing you have in writing about the fence is that a fence is installed.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Jay Tarrant is suing a videographer for a refund on a show she hired him to tape. Defendant Frederick Burnham says he owes her nothing because she didn't understand the process and she harassed him.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Tarrant versus Burnham.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Ms. J. Tarrant?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Frederick Burnham,
Yes.
for $550 to refund you for the work he did to create a DVD of a stage play you created?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you tell me what happened?
Actually, I'm gonna go back 10 years ago when I wrote my first stage play. Okay, I wrote it as a fundraiser for my church. And so at the time, we didn't have enough people in our church to bring this stage play forward. As the play sat back there, the church got bigger and bigger. And so my bishop brought out the play and said, "Now, Sister Tarrant, I think it's time we put this play on." So I said, yes, this is it. I get a chance to put it out.
What's the name of the play?
Is there an answer?
Okay.
Anyway.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the play is about?
Yes, it's about chaos that's going on all around the church as well as on the inside. And so with everything going on, this deacon in the church, he's not doing what he's supposed to do, so everybody's looking for an answer. And so at the end, Jesus is the answer.
Okay. So you try to call out the deacons a little bit?
Yeah, the deacons and everybody else that was around that church too. The bench warmers and everybody else.
Okay.
That was all that.
Okay, that's great. So you're like the female Tyler Perry.
I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there, believe me.
Okay. Well, everyone has to start somewhere, right? Everyone has to start somewhere, so good for you.
Yeah.
So at some point, you meet the defendant and decide to hire him to record your play so you could sell DVDs and have it memorialized?
Right.
Okay, tell me about that agreement.
Okay, to not only record, he's supposed to give me a DVD.
That's not true.
And that, yes, it is, Fred.
I'm supposed to shoot the footage.
That is
so
what
you
we
can
agreed
send it
to.
out.
Okay,
to
Sister
get
Tarrant.
a DVD
I'm supposed to give her the-
and
I'm supposed to give her the
DVD, Your Honor, from the DVD,
I don't think she understands how the
he was going
process
to make
works.
other DVDs so I can sell at the play and also at a red carpet event that I lost sales on.
Okay, so why don't we start from the beginning? How do you know the defendant? Is he a church member as well?
Oh, God, no.
I'm a church member, just not her church.
I don't know.
So how do you
I don't
know him?
know with all these fibs. Okay.
So how do you know him?
Okay, my stepdaughter.
Okay.
I asked her, does she know somebody who does videos? And she told me about Frederick.
Is that your business? Is that what you do?
Yes, I do full multimedia flyers, graphic design, and video. This is my third year in my business. This is the only unhappy customer that I have.
So what was the agreement? What was the price, and what did he agree to do?
Okay, the price was $450, and that was to shoot the video and give me a DVD.
Okay, and do you agree to that?
No, I don't agree to that.
Well, was the price $450?
Yeah, it was $450. I was hired to shoot the play and to provide a medium where she can get it duplicated.
So you were to record it for $450 and provide her with a way to make copies so she could sell
so she
DVDs.
duplicated and
So
No
what
way,
happened?
Your Honor. Let me tell you, who would work on video for 6 months?
Tell me what happened.
6
Take me back
months.
Okay.
to the night of the play. You said that's when things
Okay.
got bad.
The night of the
what happened?
play, Frederick came in like 30 minutes late.
I actually came in 10 minutes late.
No, it was 30 minutes late.
It took me
My
extra 10 minutes to
Minister
set
of
up.
Music, videos, the whole thing.
What, had the play started?
Yes. Professional, mind you.
Sir, you missed recording the first part
Yeah,
of the play?
I missed the
That's
first
not
part.
it.
They were in a new.
Why?
They were in a new church. I knew the address, but it's not on like Google Map. You can't just put the address into Google Map like you would normally do.
You have to understand, you missed the
Right.
first 10 minutes of the play. That's
not it.
inexcusable if your job is to record the
I
play.
mean, I don't have. I wouldn't have excuse for that, but that's the reason that I missed it.
It's not really a great reason.
It's not.
All right,
It's
go
not.
ahead.
I agree with
And
that.
he closed down before the play was over. He's supposed.
Wait, so he came late and left early?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you do when you go to church
I
all
didn't
the
leave
time?
early. See, that's the thing though. I recorded the whole play. She's talking about that I missed the curtain call.
That's
That
professional.
She,
you know,
she
sir,
didn't
that's
discuss
a
that she
part-
wanted the curtain
curtain
call.
call is
They
a
turned on the lights and cheering and everything
job.
like the play was over.
A curtain
So,
call.
when they turn on the
It's
lights and start
professional.
cheering, you don't talk to anyone. You just pack up your stuff and leave.
That's what he did.
That's not what I
Exactly.
did.
Because you missed
That's
the curtain
exactly.
call, right?
Yeah, I missed the curtain call.
Okay,
but
that's strike two.
He missed the
ahead.
curtain call. Well,
My understanding is I was supposed to
professionals
get the play.
know that the play began at the beginning and it ends at the end of the curtain call. You see what I'm saying?
Coming up on Judge Faith, does neglect lead to threats?
You've been watched. I know everything about you. So in court, I will see you.
Who did you have watching him, ma'am?
And later,
One of the steps going up, I guess they're just little things.
Your Honor,
Did you
he
do
did that
that?
himself. In the video
That's
on the
important.
day that we left, you can see going up the stairs that carpet is not like that
That's
at
right
all.
by the railing.
Let me see the video.
plaintiff Jay Tarrant is suing for the refund of money paid for video services. Defendant Frederick Burnham says the plaintiff harassed him.
What he actually recorded, was that at least good footage?
No,
Okay.
it was not. I'm going to tell you now, my Minister of Music recorded better than he did.
That is not
And
true.
when he would pan in, it was jerky. It was jerky
That's
on
not
the
true.
footage. And there was sometimes the heads was cut off on his footage. This is not the DVD.
It's only one time a
This
head was
is
cut
not
off
the
because.
DVD. No, Frederick.
It's only, look, check
What?
this out.
You
No,
can't-
listen. I came for the rehearsal,
No.
right? They
No,
didn't have
Frederick.
everybody for the rehearsal. So I come to the play.
That's always.
They got somebody run from the back that's at the bottom of the stage. The play was only supposed to be on the stage.
Do you have a copy of the DVD, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look.
there's
Let's take a
some.
look at the footage. Out of focus.
That's not my footage.
I mean, I just can't get over the 3 audience members whose heads are in the
I was
bottom
going
of
to
the...
mention that.
that's
Look
how-
like
that's how
a
it was
thief
set
in a
up.
movie theater.
That's how it was set up. That's how
I mean,
she
this looks kind of like one of those bootleg DVDs you buy off
you.
the
But that's not
street
my footage.
where someone's sitting in the movie theater recording in the back. So what happened? You get the footage. What's the problem after that?
Every DVD that he tried to present to me had something wrong with it.
Okay, and the problem was it wasn't a complete DVD at that time?
It was, but it was, movie was separate. I don't know what
Well, how did you
call
get the
it.
footage that you missed to include on the DVD?
That's the
I
footage we
did.
just seen that her minister
That's
shot.
not it.
And
That's
she
not it.
agreed that we
That's
would
not
use
it.
that beginning of the footage
not it.
for that time that I missed.
You put it together, so you
Yes, I put it
piecemealed the play
Right.
together
Thank you.
using various other
Yes.
people's footage
Professional.
that you missed.
Yes.
Professional.
And what is your reason for not refunding Miss
My
Tarrant?
main reason is she's pretty much new, so she didn't understand the process of everything. And then
No!
and then in the midst of everything, she started trying to leave little side threats on my voicemail and saying this, that, and the third, saying she got
I
people
told
watching
him I
me.
was going to bring him to court because he was
She
not
said she had
giving me
people
what we
watching me,
agreed
and-
to.
So what was the ultimate problem with the DVD?
It would play, it would freeze, it was the video, people were separate. I don't know what you call that. I call them
I don't know
glitches.
nothing about
Okay,
that.
It
and
would
tell me
be
about
like
the voicemail
square.
you say she
No,
left you.
you don't,
Do we have a
because
copy of the
I
voicemail?
invited him to
Tell
come
me
over
about the
to
voicemail
watch.
you say she left you. Did you bring that with you?
Yes.
I
yes.
May I hear
invited
it,
him to
please?
come over to watch the DVD. He never would.
Okay, Fred, I see the game that you're trying to play. I know everything about you. And how would you like for somebody to treat your mother or your wife like this? But that's okay. You've done it. You've been watched. I know everything about you. So, in court, I will see you. Okay.
I had to keep up with him. He was running. He was
I was
answering my call.
running. I respond to every call and text
So, ma'am,
until I got the threats.
Who did you have watching him, ma'am?
Me. I was keeping up with him. Me.
Okay, all right. Mr. Burnham, you should have been there early enough to catch it from the very beginning.
Right.
She shouldn't have to pay you for your services when she had to piecemeal the DVD together to
Right.
put it together in the first place because you came in late and you left early. And how much in sales did you lose on this, Ms. Tarrant?
I'm going to say $100.
I'm going to order you, sir, to return $450 and refund the plaintiff on the amount that she paid you for the DVD, and also $100 in loss of DVD sales. So I'm going to order you to pay the plaintiff a total of $550 plus court costs as a refund, okay?
That's it. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Plaintiff Kevin Smith and his fiancée Gabrielle Mink are suing their former landlord for the return of the deposit on a home they rented. Defendant Arman Okiev and his wife Liana Karakian say their tenants left their property a disaster, so they are keeping the deposit and countersuing for damages.
Plaintiffs, you say your former landlord owes you for a security deposit and loss of wages. You are suing him for $1,500. Mr. Ochiev, you say you don't owe the plaintiffs anything because they did not uphold their part of the lease agreement. In fact, you have a counterclaim for $5,407.42 for property damage. Okay, so why don't one of you start and tell me about the property?
Your
Describe
Honor,
it for me.
in February of 2013, I found the home on Craigslist. I was about 6 months pregnant at the time, and it was a cute little home. The contractors were still working on it. There are a few little minor repairs that needed to be done.
Okay, and so did you end up signing a lease?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a copy?
I do, and initially we had put down roughly $2,500 after the security deposit, first month's rent, and we had to pay for a stove.
How much was the security deposit?
The security deposit was $1,000.
And how much was your rent, monthly rent?
$915.
And this was a one-year lease?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Next on Judge Faith.
That was a clear hole, and when the inspector came down, that was actually, you could see out through it. On the other side
That was
of
a
it,
condition of him coming into the property.
Okay.
Plaintiff Kevin Smith and his fiancée Gabrielle Mink are suing their former landlord, Arman Okiev, and his wife for a full refund of their rental deposit. The defendants say the place was a disaster and are countersuing.
So what was the date you actually moved in?
We did not move in until April the 15th of 2013.
Okay, and that's the date that the lease starts.
we moved in on the 21st, but the lease says it was the 15th. The only reason why we had to move in on the 21st was because he got the inspection, and then he gave me a list from the inspector stating that in order to move in, windows had to be replaced, concrete had to be installed in the doorframe in the basement, patches, holes, and he told me that we cannot move in until they were done.
Okay, so at the end of the lease, was there a walkthrough?
He wasn't even in the right city. We moved out on the 12th of April. Our lease ended up on the 15th of April. And we did a final walkthrough by ourselves as we walked out the door.
Okay, so you never did a walkthrough with the defendant?
We never did.
But he contacted you a few days later and said that he was keeping your security deposit. Why did you keep their security deposit? What was your reason?
First of all, I apologize. I could not be there on the 14th of April to do an inspection because I was playing a gig in Kansas City, and I told him about this. I was there literally on the 15th, early in the morning. I came out there, and me and my wife, we drove by, and my jaw just literally dropped when I saw my fence that they were supposed to install. I mean, it looks like a chicken fence.
Well, tell me about that. You said they were supposed to install a fence. Was there an agreement to put in a fence?
I agreed with him and she volunteered about it. She brought up the idea.
Is this in the lease?
Initially, when we did the walkthrough, because I was 6 months pregnant and I'm about to have a small child, and the house was not enclosed, I asked if we could put in a fence because...
Do you have pictures of the work that you said
Yes,
you
I
did?
do, Your Honor.
Okay, because I want to see the
And Your
enhancements
Honor-
you made to the property, and I want to see that.
The deposit was going to be $1,500
describing.
and the rent was going to be $850. So we agreed that since we couldn't pay the $1,500 deposit, that we would pay more in rent every month. So we would pay $915 instead of the $850.
Made up for the $500.
And
What is this a photo of?
This is the basement. That was where the AC unit lines come in from the outside. That was a clear hole, and when the inspector came down, that was actually, you could see out through it. I patched that up myself,
this up.
and on the other
That was
side
a
of it,
condition of him coming into the property in
Okay,
the
that's
first place.
fine.
I patched the
that's
door
fine. I just want
frame,
to be
too.
clear about the enhancements that they did, but you don't dispute this, right? That he did this work?
Yes.
Okay, next photo.
That's a window in the basement that it's, and that's in glass blocks in the hall, and several of those blocks were broken out, and according to the St. Louis City Code, all of that had to be filled in on both sides because that there were glass, like blocks there. You couldn't just put a piece, like one piece of glass there. It had to be double-sided.
Okay, next photo.
there was nothing, that top deck, there was nothing there. I actually customized the top part of it and painted it, sanded it down, installed it myself. There was nothing there.
That was
when
the
we moved
agreement
in.
we had for you to move in the house.
Well, I understand
to
that you
pass
say that's the
inspection.
agreement. I want to see what the enhancements that they made. So it's not in dispute that they made these enhancements, but I want to be able to see them for myself. So I want to address your counterclaim now, because you're saying that when the plaintiffs moved out, there were a lot of damages to the home and that you had to rebuild the fence. What was the problem with the fence? I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm his wife and business partner.
Okay.
I'm Liana Karakanian.
Okay, why don't you have a seat for a second, ma'am? I want to go through some of the counterclaim with your husband. So what was the issue with the fence?
The fence was real too thin, okay? No gates, and it's not old fence.
Do you have
to work-
pictures?
Yes, I do.
Let me see the picture.
And
of
Your
the
Honor,
fence.
we drove by the house before flying out here. The fence is
still
there. And the way that the backyard is set up, there are large concrete paths. You cannot put in a gate in there. As per our agreement, the only thing that was stated about the fence was that it not be a privacy fence.
That was it.
Okay.
I did
Can
not put,
say
yes,
something, Your
yes.
Honor? Can I say something?
Yes, please step up to the lectern.
Okay, his fiancée said, they asked for a fence themselves because they had baby, right, coming.
Coming on the way.
Let's put these up on
coming on
the
the way.
flat screen.
It's supposed to be childproof
fence.
fence. That's my understanding, and fence should be enclosed space, right? Fenced area.
Is this the picture of the fence?
Yes.
Okay. What's the issue there? You just don't like it?
No, we like the color, it's fine, but the quality
Well,
is not
it's
good.
not enclosed.
Well, the issue is the only thing you have in writing about the fence is that a fence is installed. You did not include a specific detail about the height, the color, the type of material they needed to use, the quality, nothing.
Measurements.
All
I
you
agree.
said, all you wrote in the agreement was that a fence needed to be installed, and I'm looking in this photo, there's a fence.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
You also have an issue with the carpet. Let me see the photo, the damage to the carpet. Okay, what is this a photo of?
It just one of the steps going up, I guess they're just little things.
Your Honor,
Did you
he
do
did that
this?
himself. In the video
That's a
on the
poor-
day that we left, you can see going up the stairs that carpet is not like that
That's
at
right
all.
by the railing.
Let me see the video. When was this video taken?
The day we moved out, it was April the 12th.
It
That
doesn't,
carpet-
show,
The house
doesn't
looks
show the date.
immaculate in this video.
Better than what it was when we moved in, I'll tell you that much.
No, it was painted all white. You keep bringing
Yeah,
up.
it's
I
painted all
painted.
white.
I
Is this the
painted-
carpet?
Yeah,
So
this
where's
is the
the
carpet.
symbol
See,
behind
as
it?
you're going up
We
the stairs, that
painted
picture
white.
is taken
Excuse
right
me.
there in the landing.
There,
There you see the seam
Wait,
in the
hold
carpet.
on, pause it.
See right there, it's actually right there.
How did that seam go from that on this video to what you have in your photo? Go back to the photo.
To be honest, I have no idea.
First of all, as it relates to the fence. The only thing you put in writing was that a fence was to be built, and they built a fence, so I'm not giving you any damages for having to replace that fence. Based on all the evidence I've seen today, I find in favor of the plaintiffs. I think that they left this home in better condition than when they moved in, and frankly, I think you should be a little grateful for that. My verdict is for the plaintiffs, $1,000. Pay them their security deposit back.